So in this video, I'm going to be showing how to make a raglan sleeve. And a raglan sleeve, unlike normal sleeves, has to do with you having your bodies and your sleeve matched together. So to do this, you need your bodice block and you need your sleeve block. Your sleeve block can be either your straight sleeve or whatever interpretation you want the raglan to have. It can be flare, for instance. And the usual sleeve and dress sewn together would usually have a seam from somewhere on the SP, which is here, to the UP, which is here. So you usually have like a seam here. But if you look at this very carefully, it's coming like from the neck area. And in some cases, it could come from the CF, depending on the variation you plan to have. So now I'm going to get out my bodice block. I am going to get my sleeve block. And then we start the draft. So right here, I have my bodice block, and I trace my bodice block to the desired length. So here's the waist, and I just added a bit more. And I also have my sleeve lining. So this is just a straight sleeve. It is not shaped. And it has my back labeling and my front so that I know where the back is and where the front is. So for the sake of sewing perfectly, you need to align where your F on your back is on your bodies as well. So if you just align your SP to your T, this is the T and this is the SP shoulder point, and just pivot so that you know where F is and mark it. And do the same thing for the back. Align your T right here and just pivot. Here is my back line, and give that 2 lines so that you know that that is the back for the purpose of setting in. Now the next thing to do is put your sleeve aside and decide on what to do with this dart here. So for this dart, I am just going to move it on the arm. So I am going to move this dart on the arm, and there's a reason for that. It's because it's very likely going to affect my design as I start wheeling out my raglan, and I don't want it to interfere, so I'm going to move it to another location. And in this case, it can be anywhere other than here actually. So if you're familiar with your dart movements, that shouldn't be a problem. So I am going to stick this down, and I'm going to move this into here. And I'm just going to do this by slashing to that point there, which is my bust point. And automatically it relaxes it. And so I will stick this down permanently. Okay, so having moved your dart, the next thing you should be thinking of is the shape of your raglan. So mark anywhere on your neck area, and in this case, this is my neck area, and mark anywhere on your armhole where you want the raglan to stop. And I'm just going to use my F point here. And so the next thing is to get your French curve and make a nice curve from wherever it is you marked on your neck to that point. And when you do that, give yourself a balance mark for the purpose of when you want to join this back into the other one. For the back, do the same thing. This is my back right here, and I'm just going to get my ruler, and I've marked here on my neckline, and I'm going to use where my B is as my point where I am going to stop the raglan at the back. And so I am just going to curve again to that point. And once again, I am going to put a balance mark. So the next thing to do is to separate these pieces. And so you just and of course you want to remember that this is your front. So if you think you need to put label so that you don't forget, that is fine. And right here is your NP, just so you don't forget that part. NP, F, and I separate. And I'm going to do the same thing for the back. So I will just note that this is my back, this is my NP, this is my SP. Anything that won't get you confused, please do. And then I separate again. So right here are the pieces we should be working with next, and then we need to get out our sleeve block. Now the next thing to do is get out your sleeve block, and you remember we marked our B, our F, or if you haven't marked it, please do, on your top line, and get another paper, just a rough paper under. Now position your sleeve, leaving some gap here, and now you need to grab your part that we cut off, and so you need to align the F part, or wherever it is you marked you're stopping to be here. In this case, you remember I marked F, so I am just going to align that together like that, and I am going to stick it down. Now this particular part has different variations, and most importantly it will also depend on the shape of the person you're working with. So you might find that what you have here differs in terms of gap, length, width, and all that. But don't worry yourself, just align properly with your F. Now, the same thing applies here, which is the B part. Align that as well with the point you marked earlier on this point. And when you've done that, just stick it out. So literally this is what we have, and you can then decide to blend this together for the purpose of cutting the raglan into two, and this as well back to your tee. Now I must point though that sometimes you have authors who say you need to move your back shoulder to the front slightly because raglans tend to tilt a bit, but I find that it might not be totally necessary in most cases. But for the purpose of knowing the basics of how to make a raglan sleeve that will still fit nice, this is fine. So the next thing to do is to separate these pieces. So to separate this, I am just going to split this into two. So I also need to let you know that you might as well just sew this as a dart, but in this case I am splitting mine into two so that I can have the same running down my top line. And of course I'm going to cut the excess on this. And I'm going to do the same on the other side as well. So technically you should have 4 pieces like this: the front bodies, the back of your bodies, and your sleeves. So this is CF, and right here is the C back, center back. So I'll start by showing you how to join this. So you remember your balance marks, you need to align it perfectly, and you need to join this first, and then you get your back as well. And you do the same. This is where the balance mark comes in because it makes it effortless for you when you're sewing, as against sewing and having distortions that look like this. Can you see? So you want to ensure that everything slots in perfectly and everything is used in perfectly. So that is basically the sewing. And remember, if this is supposed to be cut and fold, then it should be cut and fold. And if it's going to have the zip at the back, you add your seam allowance for your zip as well. Alright, so this is the pattern placed on my fabric, and I folded this fabric into two. So this is cut and fold, and then I added seam allowance. So I'll just run you through the allowance added. Here you just need about a quarter really, but then you can use half. Here you also need just a quarter, and here I used 1 inch, which is 2.5 centimeters for the sides, and for the back I added 2.5 cm as well for the zip. And here I just added about half inch. You could use 1, you could use 2, and folding, it's up to you. And so I am going to cut this, and I'm going to show you how to place the sleeve as well. So do not forget to notch the relevant places on your sleeve, like here. Give it a snip, and this as well. Give it a snip as well, so that when you're slotting in the sleeve, it's easier to assemble. Okay, so here's the sleeve, and you just repeat the same process. Remember to add your allowance, and when you're done, remember to notch so that we slot in nicely. And so I am going to separate this piece, and I'm going to pin the fabrics together to show you how to sew. So I'm going to show you how to assemble, and right here is my back sleeve. So and here is my back bodice block. So right here is the zip area, and I like to just pin that off first so that we have the full back, and then we work our way into the sleeve. All right, so this is the back. So I have taken out my pattern piece now so that I have unpinned this place into, like though I was fixing the zip. So here is the back, and these are the sleeves for the back. So one goes right here, and the other one goes right here. So the next thing to do now is to pin this armhole into place. Now this fabric gives a lot, and this is a bit rigid, so I'm going to have to carefully weave my way into this fabric. So now I'm going to attach the sleeve, and because this has a bit of excess, I'm going to pin this way so that that part there is the part that would be fed on the machine, and then I can easily ease in everything nicely. So that is a tip. So I have searched for where my notch is, and I have marked that first, and this is the other notch here, and I'm going to pin that in place. So what I'm doing here is pinning the right side on the right side. So the pinning here makes me know easily where the right side of this fabric is, because this is inside, right? So continue pinning, and I would align this as well. So we have this to work with, and I'm going to start by aligning this. So you see this excess here, I'm going to try to ease it in. And so that's a very good tip you should know. Once you have the fabric that is more than the other, that should be the one that should be touching the machine when you're sewing. And just keep looking for the middle and dividing the excesses in between till you have it all pinned off. And this will require you to use a whole lot of pins. So I am going to work my way through that by finding the middle and I'll keep shaving the excess. And I'm going to repeat this on both sides, and then I get my front. So here's the back pinned and ready to be sewn. And we are going to put this aside and get the front and repeat the exact same process for the front. Now, if you're going to be sewing your darts, you need to transfer your markings. Like this case, I think I'm just going to make it like a crop top of some sort, and it's loose, so I won't bother myself with the dart. So you repeat the same process. This is the front right here. And wrap your pattern separately. So one goes to both sides. So here are the notch to guide. So automatically you know that this slots into this and this slots into this, and it goes all the way to the armhole. So flip right side on right side, match your notches all the way, and repeat the same process on the other side. Okay, so this is the back, and I have joined the sleeve, and this is the front as well, joined. So the next thing to do is right side on right side, we are going to assemble the sleeve. So this is the back. As you can see, this is where the zip is. The right side is facing me, and the right side of this is going to go on there as well. And now I am going to pin this in place and run a stitch down that line. So that is the top line version of the sleeve. So now to ensure that you don't end up with something like this when you're sewing, right? You need everything to align properly. So it's always best to pin this in place first and then pin in between. Pin this in place, pin this in place, and then pin every other thing in between. That way you are safer and you don't end up sewing and having a shortage anywhere. Now we are going to go ahead and sew this, which is the top line area, and after that you grab the UP area, which is the underarm, and you align properly your seam here. Now this is the difference between a bad seamstress and a good one. Align properly on your seam allowance. Pin that in place first. So that your seams look neat and slot right into where they should by the time you are done sewing. And don't forget a thumb rule. Pin the parts you want to be perfectly aligned together first. So repeat the same process here. Pin, and then you can then pin everything in between. So the same thing applies here. Pin. Now the front has a dart, so an underarm dart. So if you look here, you find this is not even. If I pinch this dart back, that should come back to what you should be. So I am going to sew the dart and then we'll finish off this. Okay, so right here everything has been joined together. The armhole has been joined. The raglan joined on both sides. The zip area basted temporarily for zip, and this is what it looks like so far. So the last bit is to hem, finish up this, and I'm gonna be finishing that off with bias and sleeve hem as well.